And so today we've got we have with us Tamsin and Roisin from Bread and Roses, and Jaisha. Is that how you say your name, Jaisha?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Cool, yeah, cool. Yeah. And she's a potential volunteer, and she's coming to find out about the opportunities. So I'm going to hand over to Tamsin now, who's going to introduce the organisation and what they do and what volunteer role they have available. Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. So hello, thank you everybody for coming to this session today. I'm looking forward to being able to talk a bit more about Bread and Roses and kind of what we do and who we are and the positions that we have available. So Bread and Roses is based on North Parade in Bradford at the top of town, and the building itself acts as a vegan and vegetarian cafe. It's got a co-working space, it's got an art room, and it's got also a roof garden. It's not really worth mentioning, but is also just a nice little thing for, you know, if you're wanting to impress the Bradford locals with your knowledge, you can say Bread and Roses has a roof garden, and there we go. So it's also got very nice views of the city. I will say that you can see Bradford SC football ground from the roof garden, but as I said, you know, going off on tangents already. But so who we are, as I mentioned, we've got all these different kind of areas in the cafe and in the building. So there's kind of something for everyone, really. We've got a creative agency as well called Chapel Street Studio that is based at Bread and Roses, that is also part of the Bradford Cooperative Association, which is the umbrella organisation that houses Bread and Roses and Chapel Street Studio. And the reason why I mention all of the different kind of sides, I know there's a lot going on already, but it's just because I think Bread and Roses is a really individual organisation in that it has so much going on. It has so many kind of opportunities for you to get involved in, and it's got so many people that work there that will be willing to help you out if you want something extra going on. So I think that's worth mentioning at this point, just to keep in mind as we go forward with these opportunities. Just drop us an email if at any point there's something that you want to be involved in. If you don't see at any point in this presentation today, you're 100% welcome to drop us an email, because everyone there is just willing to help people get as involved as possible.
Yeah, just a quick question, Tamsin. Is Tamsin, sorry, I want to pronounce your name right, okay, is opportunities in volunteering, what's the legal age? What age do you have to be to start volunteering?
So you've got to be 18, unfortunately, with Bread and Roses, yeah. Okay. Which is a bit of a shame, but no worries. I know that going forward, we're going to be looking into youth programmes to get young people involved in the from the community as well. So if there's anything going forward, I can publicise that through the SU and send you an email with it as well.
The only reason I'm asking is my son does some volunteering. He's 13 and he does a lot of volunteering for what's it called now? It's the church that was it's taken over at the middle of Bradford Town Centre now. I can't remember the name. I'll have to remember the name now. Churches in. Oh yes. In church. Yes. I know which one you mean. Yeah. Volunteering for them, because they have where they obviously have a holiday club on for each holiday. So half term, which is next week, they have a full week's menu of certain things they're cooking, and obviously children have to pay and come and cook. So he volunteers there and helps out, and has been doing for the last, well, he's been doing it for a couple of years, even though he was about 11 when he started. But it's just off the books. He just goes and helps out, and younger children need somewhat enjoy. So that's why I was asking about volunteering.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is with the Bread and Roses position, it's a volunteer general manager, which I'll be speaking about in a second, is like kind of the only position we've got going, because obviously at the moment we've got, you know, people aren't really wanting to volunteer as much, and it's not really possible for people to be volunteering in the ways that they might have pre-COVID, and so we don't have a lot of the opportunities that might be suitable, whereas the general manager position has quite a bit of responsibility and involves like cash handling and stuff. So it's, you know, unfortunately not, I wouldn't want to be putting a 13-year-old in there and having them be like, what?
Well, just what you mentioned about youth, about doing something with the youth and stuff, I thought, you know, maybe you could, with youth work and everything, because obviously that's the sort of road he wants to go in, something like that. So this is why I put him in. But I suppose it builds confidence for younger children dealing with adults, because they might sometimes not have the opportunity to do with only with the family members, but being outside of the family, dealing with other adults, it builds confidence, it builds skills, resilience. There's a lot more. Yeah, so.
Risha, if your son, just to interrupt slightly, if your son's interested in if this is why you're here on behalf of your son, not for you, right? If he's a member of the public, he can go to, obviously he's not a student at the university because this is a university presentation. It's all right. If he's interested in getting involved with youth work or any volunteering like that, he can go through Volunteering Bradford. So
Yeah.
you know Steve Blackman, who was in the interview, in the meeting.
Yeah.
If you contact him, he will be the person to ask, and he can point you towards the right ways for him to look. Yeah, there's plenty of things like that you can get involved with.
Yeah, thank you, Ross. But it wasn't
okay.
purely because of my son. It was, I'm obviously a facilitator and a coordinator for Henry, and I just thought, looking at, I love Bread and Roses. Can I tell you, I really, really love your organisation. I come there, and I definitely support you. Whatever I can, I would support you. I think you're an amazing organisation. I really do. So I just thought it'd be nice to see you, not as a volunteer, but find out what it's about. So I've lots of families that I work with, and I can put it out there for you too. So be a platform for you guys.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you. That's so nice to hear.
Joyce, I'll send you the recording because we're recording there. I'll send you the recording.
Gosh.
I'll send you the recording, and you can make sure that all your clients get the video, so they're clued up in how to get involved. That sounds great. But this is about volunteering specifically, so yeah. Okay. Do you want to carry on, Tamsin? That would be fab if you want to carry on. Yeah, thank you.
I'll go to the next slide because I feel like I've managed to speak about all the great things so far. So the positions that we have at the moment, as I've mentioned, we currently only have the volunteer general manager position, and that's a chance for you to gain business and leadership skills by looking after the Bread and Roses building throughout the day. So this position, although it's only one, and if you just look at it on a job listing, it can look really daunting. I think it can look like it's a lot of stuff to do, but I want to stress that, first of all, a lot of the stuff on that list isn't day-to-day stuff. It's kind of stuff that, you know, you just need to know as somebody that is in that role. And also the other thing is that it's a position that you can kind of tailor to how you want it to be. So because it comes with a day of free co-working, you get to work in a space and you kind of get to really be in the Bread and Roses environment. And so a lot of the tasks, I mean, I'll direct a machine after this to see if I'm, making it sound a lot more rosy than it is. But I think because it's such a community atmosphere, it doesn't feel like the work. It just feels like you're helping out in that environment anyway, because everybody's already, willing to help each other. And I know that I've done, I mean, this is a little aside, but I've done some of the roles of being a general manager without being in the position before, but stuff like, getting the water ready set up at the beginning of the day for everybody, and then throughout the day you just see people drinking the water and you're like, that was me. And yeah, I know it's something so basic, but it's really just nice to know that you're in a position that is helping other people. So I just want to stress that before anyone watching this might see the huge list of stuff, but just to let you know that it is, all stuff that really is integral to the running of the business and really does have an impact on other people. So some of the key responsibilities in terms of being a volunteer general manager include welcoming visitors and being a point of call for anybody using B&R, always lending a hand where needed, including assisting cafe team if it gets busy, answering questions to the best of your ability, relaying messages, providing information, fielding inquiries, and plus extra COVID-19 duties. Obviously the COVID-19 duties we do take really seriously. It is a really important part of the role to be making sure to check over the building, sanitising the building and making sure it's just a clean and safe environment for everybody to come to. But as I mentioned, a lot of the other responsibilities, especially at the moment when our cafe, our cafe isn't hugely busy at the moment, so it gives you an opportunity to, if a cafe is quieter, to be focusing on your own work whilst you use the co-working space, just kind of depending on the day. And yeah, so the benefits, as I've just mentioned, you've got a free day of co-working whilst you volunteer at Bread and Roses, which makes this position kind of ideal for anybody that has other stuff going on. anybody that would just benefit from having that space and having the kind of community that I mentioned earlier, the community of like creative people and charities and local businesses, and it's a really great environment full of people that are all really excited to help each other out. I know from experience that, you know, I entered Bread and Roses as one thing, and then now a year later I'm in a completely different role because I expressed my interests in these things. So it's a really great environment to get that work done and to get the help and advice and support of other people from the community. You also get a discount in the cafe, which is obviously lovely, a nice 20%, which is, I mean, the food's just incredible. I have to stop myself every single time. I mean, I don't stop myself, that was a lie. There's a volunteer tariff on co-working as well. So if you've done your free day and you decide that you want more, you can sign up to the volunteer tariff and get it cheaper than the regular price. You also get a free lunch, so you don't even need that discount half the time because you get your free plate. As I mentioned, it's a vegan and vegetarian cafe, and we make sure that all our food is sustainable and locally sourced to the extent that we can. If you are an unwaged person, you get your travel expenses covered. So if you are wanting to be a volunteer general manager and that's something you'd need, just give us an email. We're more than happy to sort that out for you. And then you also get the opportunity to become a member of the Bread and Roses and show ownership of our cooperative and play a central role in our creative community. So the Bradford Cooperative Association has members, and you can sign up to become a member if you give more than 4 hours a month to Bread and Roses in terms of time, so through volunteering or employment. And that means that when we make decisions about the direction of the cooperative, you get to come along and be a member and be involved in those conversations. So if you're wanting to get involved in Bread and Roses because of the kind of community side of it and the kind of all the different people that come together, and you think it's a really exciting organisation, then I think this would be a really great benefit of volunteering, would be able to influence that direction. So that's just something to keep in mind, as well as the free lunch and the discounts. But that's it from the presentation. I hope that's been good and that you've learned a bit more about Bread and Roses and us. And I'd like to pass over to Roisin to talk a bit more just about the day-to-day role of volunteer general manager and what you kind of get up to.
Cool. So I was, I'll say VGM because there's a lot of words in that. I did the VGM role two days this week, on Monday and yesterday, and my days they were completely different. So Monday was a really slow day, nothing really happened, drama and tasks, but there were a few new people that came in that it's just nice to get involved in kind of being a face of a place that you're really excited to work in and for. For me, I got more involved with the VGM role because I wanted to work with people. I found working at home really difficult, and I'm quite new to Bradford, so I just wanted to get involved with more creative people. Since doing that, I've put in applications with other co-workers for creative projects, and I've ended up with a bit of an admin assistant job through Bread and Roses, so that's now a paid, well, slightly paid position. And then Wednesday I inducted 2 new VGMs, 2 lovely guys that are really, really enthusiastic. And then I worked with a local artist, a photographer, just scanning in her images and trying to start to build her website. So that job was through Chapel Street. So I got that opportunity VGM in that place at that time. So I was just like a local on the ground helper. The day-to-day is you just kind of feel like a gatekeeper for the building, which is really nice. So you're a bit of a face that people know that if you don't have the answers, you know somebody that will have the answers. And welcoming and making sure it's a bit of a homely environment is one of the things that I think we're trying really hard to do. The other co-workers are great as well. So I think by being a responsible manager, you kind of encourage other people to have a bit of a responsibility about the other tasks. So stuff like the COVID-19, new cleaning regulations and everything, you lead by example and then people follow it. And I think we're instilling that kind of responsibility and respect for other people, which I really enjoy, that it's just come so naturally and we're not all like freaked out, and we don't have to be COVID police, which is quite nice. But the day-to-day it's different every single day. So some of it is empty, nothing happens, and you can really get stuck into your own work, and it's really nice. Other days it's the phone's ringing and people can't work the printer, and people don't know where the rooms are, or people want shown around, or the cafe gets really busy. So I'd say it's a few months ago I decided that I didn't want a soul destroying job anymore. I had so many jobs in positions that I hated, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I've been a manager of places before, enjoyable, but this is a very different kind of role, just because of the days being so different, the people being involved being so like encouraging and enthusiastic really changes everything as well. But the fact that it's part of a co-op was a massive point for me, because it means that as soon as I'm in that role, I have autonomy and I have responsibility, which makes you feel kind of important. So I think you're valued as a volunteer more than most places that you volunteer, just because you're given such responsibility. You're given a set of keys, you know, you're handling cash, you're answering the phone, and that kind of influence that you feel like you have and importance is massive. And that's why I think it's really, when I read through the description of a VGM, I'm a bit like, well, it's not much of a role, because on paper it doesn't seem like much of a role, but when you actually get involved and then meet the people that are involved in that and then feel like you can make a bit of a difference, it's actually really, really exciting, I think.
Cool, thank you Roisin. Could you Tamsin, could you take the presentation off so we can see people speaking?
Yeah,
thank you okay I'm gonna ask some questions, is that okay? I'm slightly zoomed out. I'm trying to focus. I'm going to focus. Okay, so
you're now you're thinking about a career change. Gonna come and join Bread and Roses?
Yeah, do it. Just do
Why
it.
not?
How many hours a week would she have to volunteer for if she wanted to come volunteer with you? What's the minimum?
We split the roles. There is no minimum. This is the thing. If you can't work for a week, that's absolutely fine. We split the shifts into mornings, so kind of like opening up 9:30 till lunchtime, which we class as 1, and then closing up, which is 1 till 5, or you can do an entire day. So I've done 2 days this week, and then I'm going away, so I'm not going to do any days for a little while. But the week before I did 3. There's some people that can only do mornings, so we're super flexible. And I think having a team at the moment, the team's really dynamic, and they just like jump in, and it's great. So we work around people. We want to give people the opportunities to have that responsibility, but we understand people have their own work commitments, their own family commitments. The world's weird at the moment, so there is no minimum. If they can only do 1 day every 2 weeks, that's cool. If it's really ad hoc and they only know a day before the week starts, that's all fine. We use Workplace to communicate, so everything moves around anyway, and we're all super flexible in terms of that.
What kind of training and support do people offer to volunteers? What kind of training and support?
Roisin, your face just froze on the funniest thing.
It happens all the time. I just be like, oh, no. What if I just so everybody gets an induction, and that's an induction on the general how-tos of the building and the new systems that we're using. We're using one called Coherent, which is basically track and trace. It's just like a register. So that's kind of like the initial thing. And then the first day people do the VGM, what we aim to do is we have them shadow someone, or we have somebody stay later so that they can help with the scariest bit is locking up, to be quite honest. People get freaked out by the alarm. But so I think the shadowing system is working quite well, and we're actually just speaking at the moment in the co-op about setting up kind of like a well-being initiative. So we're going to speak about having mentors for people. I've been trying to push that for a little while. I think everybody should be teamed up with kind of a longer standing member of the co-op who is in a career that they, you know, that new person wants to aim for. So if there's somebody in production, somebody in editing, and just have them have a bit of a meeting would be really cool. So that's more of a formal thing that we're working on, but informally, all of the different platforms we use to communicate are kind of like little kind of support bubbles at the moment. There's somebody BGMing today that's doing it for the first time, and he's being supported by Katie, who's our new business manager, and I'm kind of on call just in case anything comes up. So there's always kind of like a bit of a triangular structure of people propping up that new BGM.
That's really good. Oh, sorry, go on, Jisha, go on, please.
I'll just say as well, in terms of training, there's a lot of stuff in terms of if you're wanting to get involved in, like I mentioned earlier, the like cooperative side of the new economy and the kind of conversations around those, and that's why you're kind of wanting to get involved in something like this. There's a lot of training opportunities offered through kind of our partners in the cooperative movement that we can normally subsidise tickets for. So those can be stuff, you know, I went to a workshop yesterday on exploring authentic community engagement and stuff like that. So if, you know, obviously that's not necessarily training just for the role, but if you're wanting to get involved in the role so you can learn more, I think that's a good way of that we kind of help support people to do that.
So it sounds like there's a lot going on and a lot of different types of avenues, and because you're working with creative people and in a co-op with lots of members, it's there are lots and lots of little tangents and sidelines. And so basically what you're saying, turn up, meet the people, try it. Can they come and try it? Can they just come and see what it's like if they want to just maybe shadow you for a day and see how they think, oh, no, this I could do this, you know? Could they just come and try it? And is that okay, just to informally?
I mean, there's always informal ways of trial shifting it, and if they just wanted to come into the co-work looking for a trial as well, that's completely all right, because it's a bit of a commitment, isn't it, either one of those things, to be like, and now I'm suddenly doing this. So we understand that coming and seeing what it's all about is a really good idea.
I think the other question for students is that they have a very fluctuating year. You probably know, very well aware of this, Tamsin. This is like, so October, super keen, November, super keen, then they get their assignments, usually if they're undergrads, and then because they're pulled away gradually by lots of deadlines, and then Christmas holidays, they might go home. This is non-COVID years, as usual. They might go home, or they might be studying for exams are in January, so it's like, I must study. And then February, they're like, oh right, I'm here again. I'm ready again. And then February is steady away. They might have a few assignments, and Easter holidays, 2 weeks, they don't have anything to do, so they're really, really available and they could do anything you want. And the next exams again in May, so they might drop off halfway through April and just disappear. How do you, if you've got someone who's a student who's in that pattern, that when you're a student, sometimes you don't see that pattern, you just go through the roller coaster, but we can see that pattern. So how would you support someone who's a student in that pattern? What would you expect from them to help them along?
We have one of the VMs is a student and also a mother, so there's a lot going on in her life, and it's all just about communication. I think we're all just really transparent about the fact that we're not going to ask somebody to do something that they're uncomfortable with or puts their health behind the task. It's all about managing a lot of things. I think on the other hand, consistency and having that group or that place that you can go is really good as well. It's outside. I've done all the many university times, and having somewhere that's completely removed from that can actually be really, really supportive. I think that pattern you just described also kind of emulates a lot of like creative projects that go through the year that suddenly ramp up really hard. They get really, really busy. There's like a really fast turnover, and then they drop off. So the co-workers, the VGMs all and the students all follow that like fluctuating thing. So I think it's just being creative people working in creative endeavors. We understand that quite a lot.
Yes.
So,
that's a very positive answer. That's a very good answer, because it really shows that you've got some empathy with their situation if they've, you know, if you're all in that sort of pattern. And the thing that I've heard all week from organisations is as long as the volunteer lets people know where they're at any given time, like next week I can't do because I've got this, or Christmas because I've got there's things happening, but I might be able to do extra because of it. If they can have that conversation with their supervisor, whoever's coordinating, then that's the key. Is that what you're saying?
I've been coordinating the VGM rota in the past few weeks, and I've been nagging people quite a lot because I like planning in advance a little bit, but I've begun to learn that you can't do that. People's lives they're all over the place, and I'm all about just people telling me what's going on if I'm in that role.
It sounds like you're very approachable, and that's the main thing, isn't it?
I think, sorry, just not to take away from Roisin being approachable, which it very much is.
I realise I'm just talking.
But I was just going to say as well, I think one thing off the back of what you just said, so obviously communication is key in terms of like people, you know, we aim to be a really open organisation. We aim to be somewhere where you don't, you know, I'm still a student, and I think I've been I was a student for 3 years and then took a year out, and now I'm a student for 2 years again. But on that year out, I was in a students' union, so my life has just been students for the last 6 years. And I think it can be so overwhelming as a student to just be able to say, look, I can't do it. Like, and that's why I think I've done it myself. You'll be volunteering somewhere and then you won't be able to let them know, and then you feel too guilty to ever get back in touch, and then that's just an opportunity gone. And I think we really don't want people to be in that position. We want people to know that we'd much rather you say, look, I'm sorry, I know I said I could do a shift this week, but things have just got hectic. Do you mind if I let you know when my exams are over in January? And then we still have that contact, and you're still able to benefit from what we have, and we're still able to benefit from like that, just that cooperative relationship. And so I think, you know, I don't want anyone to ever feel like they can't get involved because they don't think they've got the capacity at the moment, or they're worried about what's going to happen down the line if they get too busy. It's, you know, it's all about like, and like Roisin said as well, like having somewhere else that you can come and work during, like if you're doing your exams, you want to come in, but you don't want to general manage, that's also completely fine. Like, you don't have to feel like you've got to stay away from North Parade completely if you've like not been able to do it once. We have so many different avenues that you can get involved in, and coming into the cafe and saying, oh, do you mind if I sit upstairs and do some work? And then you might meet somebody who can help you out with what work you're doing. Just, you like, not just thinking about Bread and Roses as like this organisation that you know can volunteer with, but thinking about it as a place that is just there to offer you help and support whenever you need it.
Everybody who's there, if you said, can I run these things by you because it's completely messing up my head, can I just steal 10 minutes, I think 100% of them will be like, yeah, sure, go for it, and they would give you the space and the time. It's amazingly supportive, I think.
That's very reassuring and excellent. And you're exactly right, Tamsin, like, identifying that exact thing that people do, which is they leave it till last minute, then they think, I can't tell them, they feel guilty, they don't turn up, they feel even more guilty, and then they just have like a mile radius where they don't go near the place ever again. It happens all the time, and it's because people are like, just people are just human beings, aren't they? But what you're saying is you're understanding of that situation, because we've all been there. Trust me, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Not to name and shame people in Bread and Roses, but there's a certain person who, if they felt guilty about not showing up to meetings, they would not ever show their face, and yet they're very, very involved in the organisation. So Bread and Roses, you do not have to worry about it at all.
Okay.
People are just like, sorry, I'm busy. See you later.
Yeah. So it's okay to be slightly flaky, is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I like it. We're going to have to wrap it up a little bit in a minute or two, but that's fine. So basically, if they want to apply, if anyone wants to apply, not just students, if anyone wants to apply to come and volunteer with you, apart from obviously if you're a student, you can go onto the Bradford Uni SU website, which is Bradford Uni SU, it's UNISU, bradfordunisU.co.uk/volunteering, and if you go to that page, if you register to be a volunteer, that takes about 10 minutes, lots of questions, but it's just your likes and dislikes, quite easy, and then it'll take you to a page where you can look at every opportunity. We've got hundreds, including this exciting, wonderful, brilliant opportunity that you should definitely consider. If you just click apply, one button, and that will take you to that will make sure everyone involved is contacted, and they will contact you. But if you want to contact, would they contact you, Tamsin, if they wanted to email you? Could they just email you?
Best of contacting, so just the general Bread and Roses email, just to make sure that somebody picks it up and is aware of it.
What's that email address? Do you want to just give that email address?
That's the hello at one, so isn't it? Hello at thebreadandroses.coop.
Yeah. because I would say they could contact you, but if you're, I think we're having a bit of an overhaul in terms of who will be responding and training and stuff. So yeah, just the general one. So hello@thebreadandroses.coop.
Is that hello at Bread and Roses, all one word, co-op?
The Bread and Roses. So there's a the before the Bread and Roses.
Can you just say it really clearly?
And then you'll have it.
Yeah,
So,
put it in the chat. Yeah, good idea.
So,
Oh.
yeah,
Hello.
breadandroses.coop.
Coop. Bread and Roses Coop. Lovely. And if they want to contact me, actually I forgot about this. Let's have a go. Type message. I'm Roz. And if you want to ask anything about student volunteering or volunteering in general, or if you're feeling how could you be shy with these two people, but if you're feeling shy and you want to contact me, not this, you can email me. I work for the university and the Students' Union, so that's my email address at r.j.coulton@bradford.ac.uk. It's really easy to get involved. It's really easy to contact us. Just do it. Just do it. You never know unless you try. Just do it. Might be the best thing you ever did.
It definitely will.
Okay.
Well, definitely is probably a bit strong, but
Probably.
there's
I'm
a
going
50%
to
chance.
rush off. So lovely meeting you.
Oh,
Thank
brilliant.
you very much. Thanks, Roz.
Thanks for coming.
Take care.
Come
Bye-bye.
soon, come to Bread and Roses.
I will definitely try and
Get that discount.
Bye. Okay, right, we're going to end the meeting. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining me. Excellent. I'll send you the recording, and then that will be really nice to share it with everyone. Be in touch if you need anything. Good luck with all your opportunities. And
thank you. I hope the rest of the week goes well.
Thank you. I'll be in a cafe soon. I'll be there soon. See you soon.
Yeah.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Ta-ta.
See ya.
Bye-bye.